Well, hello. So glad to see you here every single day. I look forward to you and I getting together and doing a little bit of tarot and a little extra. This is the Tao Manifesting Tarot. This is a tarot reading unlike any that you've ever seen or heard before. And the reason is very simple. We live in times that are historic. Not necessarily a good thing, but not necessarily altogether a bad thing as well. You got to kind of tiptoe through a field of landmines. But the fact of the matter is this is where we are. If you believe in reincarnation, then you chose to be here at this time. This is a transformational time in humanity. In recorded history, which goes back 7,000 years, out to the Younger Dryas, it was called. That was a time period before 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 years ago. But the last 7,000 recorded history, we have a fairly good idea of generalized history. We know that we've been lied to. We know that they've changed history. They know that it's a kind of a farce, but we have sort of a timeline to follow. You go farther back than that, you go to the Younger Dryas, you had all kinds of problems with the flood, and then the Older Dryas, and so on and so forth. We're not too sure, although as we're digging around the planet, we're finding interesting things that have been buried for many, many centuries. So we know something went on, but we don't have enough to grab onto. But the last 7,000 years, we are now in the cauldron. It is an existential thing that we are facing as humanity. We're going to make it, we not. It's a 50-50 bet right now. Now, very often when it comes to doing tarot or when it comes to doing astrology or numerology, there is a tendency to be kind of negative, and that's sort of a self-protective thing. Where's the danger coming from? What do I have to do to protect myself? And that's understandable, but that is not the entire picture. So today we're going to talk about keeping the faith. Keeping the faith. The kryptonite that you and I have as human beings over anything else, including AI, is our ability to manifest, to make pictures inside of our own heads, not from a computer, a desktop, a laptop, a smartphone, or some sort of supercomputer. Not those, because they're still not as good as our brain. No, they can recall data faster and they can do some kind of things faster, but in terms of being creative, not there yet. So that being the case, you want to emphasize your ability to create, your ability to manifest. That's the kryptonite. So I use tarot as kind of a focal point. Think of it as a door to your future. Tarot. Tarot doesn't predict anything from my experience, but what it does do is more powerful. What it does is talk about potential. You have a frequency of an energy, and depending how you plug into or access that energy, you begin to make your own future. You do it all the time right now already, but it's usually negative. I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't, and you get nothing, and then you bitch about it, but you're manifesting negatively, so we got to switch it. So that's why I love where we're headed with today's tarot reading. Keep the faith. Really, really, really important. Now, I said this tarot reading was different. That alone, what I've just set up, makes this tarot reading different. But it gets even better because I use astrology and numerology as well. I've done tarot for 20 years, numerology and astrology for 50 years. And while tarot is the science of potential, numerology and astrology are the science of cycles. And I do mean cycles, cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles, which means doing a reading, especially with astrology, gets to be, tough. I mean tough. I battle with it all the time, and I'm trying to simplify. Because you do a typical astrological reading, man, they're telling you shit that, what does it mean? Well, we got Lilith over here, Pluto's over here, they're in this house, but this is moving, and you got your midheaven and ascendant, and you got your eclipse, and you got your quincunx, biquintile, and all this stuff, and you go, so what the hell does this mean? And they never, and I have the same problem, we can't distill it down into something that makes sense, that you can use. Well, I've done that here to a pretty good degree. The tarot, as I said, is the door. The astrology, or actually, I'm going to flip that. The astrology is the door. It tells you what's going on now. What's the feeling? And I say this every day with every reading because I want to kind of give people kind of a background. We had back when we signed the Declaration of Independence in the United States of America, July 4th, 1776, we had Pluto and Uranus in the same positions they are today. Now, it takes 250 years for Pluto to go around our solar system, 84 years for Uranus. So Uranus has gone around several times. Pluto now is just where it was back in 1776. And take a look. We got revolution. We have evolution. We have people talking about walking away from the country. We have the country splitting up. Canada's facing all these problems. We're getting that same energy going again. People know there has to be change. But how do we do it? Well, right now it's kind of overwhelming. So that's why I combine these two, because the numerology and astrology are the door. The tarot is the key to the door to open up your future. Whew, took me a little while to get that out, a little bit longer than I wanted to, but we got there. So it's potential for tarot, cycles for the astrology, and the numerology. Alrighty, we got that ace. Let's take a look at how we're going to set up the tarot. Here's what the page looks like. You see 3 cards, and I use 3 specifically because 3 is a, sacred number, for a lack of a better description. We know Christianity, you have the Trinity. That gives you a pretty good idea how powerful 3 is. But to bring it up to speed, Nikola Tesla in his lifetime said if you knew the power of 3, you would understand the universe. And there are many other examples where 3 carries a significant weight. So I stick with the 3. My idea is not to confuse you or to conflate, but to make it clear. To have you see the door, your imagination, and then have the tarot be the key that opens up the door, unlocks it for you. And this is how we're going to set it all up. This is the way we're going to go. So let's begin. First card today, 4 of Swords. It looks rather passive. It looks rather relaxing, and indeed to some degree it is. Swords are our thoughts, ideas, beliefs, the way we communicate, the way we think. And this guy is trying to get his thinking right. How do I know that? There's 3 swords right above him, 1 sword underneath. The 3 says, I'm going to line my brain, my heart, my spirit up. I'm going to get those energies working together. Instead of working against each other, which we do very usually as human beings, this guy's saying, I'm going to remove all distraction. I'm not going to pay attention for a little bit. I'm going to get my energies, mind, body, spirit. I'm going to get my thinking clear, and that's what the sword is on the bottom. Clarified thinking. He has to be able to communicate with himself first to be able to communicate outside of that. And so this is calling for focusing your thoughts. Alrighty, the next card is the Emperor. The Emperor is the boss. The Emperor is the one who makes the proclamations. The Emperor is the one who runs things. In our lifetime, it is the structure of life. It's the government. It's any institution that tells us what to do, how to do it, so on and so forth. So that being the case, he is the father figure. He's the rules and regulations guy. Well, we just came from the 4 of Swords where you are learning to focus your thoughts. You're doing it internally. Nobody telling you, nobody making you. You are choosing, which is very powerful, choosing to do this on your own. You are choosing to be your own emperor. That's what you're choosing. You're saying, I am the one who will carry the water. I'm going to be my own father figure. I'm going to be my own structure. I will be like a rock. I'm going to, at this point, change my thinking line, my mind, body, spirit energies up, and I'm going to find the silver lining. I am choosing to block out all the bullshit around me, all the lies, all the half-truths, all the manipulations, and I am going on a mission. I am going to find the silver lining. So we go with the next card, Ace of Cups. Cups are our emotional attachments. Doesn't have anything necessarily to do with romance, although it can. It has to do primarily with what are we emotionally connected with. Well, Ace of Cups says, how about a new relationship? How about a new relationship with yourself? Yeah, how about a new relationship, a loving relationship, a positive relationship, a supportive relationship? What an idea! Go back to that Four of Swords. You isolate yourself from all the outside distractions and crap that only bring you down, make you feel negative, make you scared. Decide you're going to take your Emperor energy and you are going to reorganize yourself first. Because if you reorganize yourself, you can reorganize your world around you. And how do you do that? Yeah, that's the positive potential. That is the potential of the Ace of Cups. You develop a new relationship with yourself. You develop a strong emotional, intellectual, spiritual connection with yourself. It sounds easy. It's going to take a hell of a lot of work, especially these days. But let's go to the positive. Let's do a little astrologic, a little karmic deja vu. How about positive vibes? Remember I said in the beginning we were going to do that? Well, here's some positive stuff for you. It looks like the electric car could disappear from history. You know, very often, especially this time in history, we easily see the dark side of astrology. We see the dark side of the world. We're trying to protect ourselves. But the big planets, the ones that really set the foundation, they also have a bright side. And we find it in 3 examples that may indicate the electric car, bye-bye. Looks like General Motors is out to change electric car system. They're experimenting with water. Yeah, water-powered cars. It's not just plain tap water, of course. It's water that is essentially water. It's nothing special, but it's under tremendous high pressure. In so doing, that will power the engine. Wow. No pollution, no pumps, and costing a whole lot less than electrical cars. So that's GM. Toyota, they're working with hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most prolific gas on the planet, so there's plenty of it. No question, no shortages. Hydrogen does not pollute. So what they're doing is developing a similar system, much like General Motors, where they're going to use hydrogen instead of just water. Looks like you can go to some sort of a hydrogen pump. That's what they're working out the details of right now, and you get a quick recharge. You don't have to sit there for a half hour, an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. Yeah, boom, 5 minutes or less, you're refilled with hydrogen and you take off. Long range. And finally, what if you would never, ever, ever, ever have to refuel or recharge your car? A Zimbabwean inventor has developed a self-powered vehicle that runs on radio waves. Yeah, radio waves. What that means is you don't need gas, you don't need charging stations or expensive lithium batteries. The car is called the Saith Ki or something like that. Priced about $5,000, very inexpensive stuff that you can work on. That's the whole idea, is to make it useful, make it dependable, make it durable, and no recharging. No need for fuel. As I said, the maintenance easy, inexpensive. It's designed for you to be able to use in any kind of weather. It's a real winner. In fact, somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago, the man who is now running the project in Zimbabwe had a partner. And 5 or 10 years ago, they just finished a dinner where they were finalizing the patent information. And mysteriously, the partner died, very suspiciously, about a day later. So that's the case. We know that they scared the shit out of somebody. They got real scared real quick. But now they have to divide their attention. They got General Motors powering cars with water, Toyota hydrogen-powered cars, and this car is still coming out of Zimbabwe. They plan to put out at least $30,000 a year, $5,000 a piece, really dependable, not falling apart on you, stuff that you can fix, and you don't need to refill anything. You want optimism? The planets are not only heavy-duty negative, they can also be heavy-duty positive. And that is a nice note to wrap things up on. So we're going to do that. Time is up for today. We have no more time, but that's okay. I hope you enjoyed the time right now that we've spent together. So that being the case, how about if we wrap it up, huh? But please remember to like and subscribe. There is a huge, very quiet battle going on the internet right now. They are taking down sites. They are censoring people. They're doing it more carefully than they used to do. Your site just doesn't work. Your whatever you put on the internet, oh, all of a sudden it's lost. How did that happen? There's a real battle going on. First Amendment rights here in the United States, you can make it whatever you want. Freedom, free speech, whatever. So I need like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, please. It's very important to keep it going. I will be here waiting for you tomorrow, but between now and the next time you and I get together and talk tarot, talk a little astrology, numerology, peace and blessings.